be in a meeting right now.
Today is Thursday, October 1st, 2020, and it's 6:30. This is the JFK Middle School Building Committee meeting, virtual meeting. May we have a roll call, please?
Randy Daigle?
Ellen, you with us? Ellen, you with us?
Yeah, can't you hear me?
You're muted.
No, I'm not.
Now you're frozen. There you go. There you go.
Randy?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
You're
Randy
echoing.
Daigle.
Can everybody turn their mic off? Okay, Ellen, go ahead.
Randy Daigle?
Yes?
Marcus Brennan?
Yes.
Gina Sakala?
I'm here.
David Costa? Amy Dennis?
Here.
Caitlin Dunn?
She's here.
Yeah, I thought I saw her
Here.
name.
Sorry, you gotta figure out how to unmute. Here.
Nate Gingerella? Scott Copen?
Here.
Bruce Kellogg?
Here.
Walter Cruzell?
Here.
Kevin Margolfo?
Here.
Michael Monfort?
Here.
Joe Muller? Jeff Oken?
Here.
Amar Shamas?
Here.
Greg Stritch?
Here.
Stacy Thurston?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did everybody get a chance to review the regular meeting minutes dated September 17th? And if so, are there any comments or corrections? If not, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes September 17th, 2020 as issued.
Seconded.
Caitlin seconded. Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you. We don't have any committee guests this evening, so we'll move right to the architect's report. Either Jill or Bruce.
Jill's there. Talking about the furniture package, as we talked about last time, is all set. We're cutting. You can mute. You're echoing. You can mute. I'm on mute. Oh.
There's a ton of reverb. When people mute, can't hear anything.
Bruce, you're muted.
You hear me now?
Okay, start all over.
All right. Furniture has been vetted. There's an echo now.
Are you in this on your computer?
Yeah, but I can get out.
Just get out.
Get the one.
Is this meeting interrupting your party, boys?
I assume the building committee can hear me, correct? So construction's continuing. The Thursday, every other Thursday, site meetings are occurring. If you recall, the committee approved JCJ for some additional construction administration phase time. Jill and I worked out a scenario where JCJ will have a presence on site at least one day a week, utilizing the additional services that was approved. So we've reviewed that also with Gilbane to make sure that we've coordinated our efforts, and I think that'll be very successful. So that's kind of from the design team's perspective, that's where we're at.
All right. I don't know. I think Jill we can't get her back voice wise, but we have her video. We don't have the audio. If you wanted to add anything. Do you know sign language? All right. All right. And does anybody have any questions for the architect? Or for Jill? All right, well, why don't we move on to the CMR report? And for the public, we apologize. We're having very bad IT Wi-Fi problems this evening. So let's move on to the CMR.
Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, good, okay.
Randy, you got to unmute.
Or maybe Walter can hear.
No, nobody can hear you. They're saying no sound.
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Talk now. See if we
Can
can.
you hear me now?
One yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Should be good.
All right, so the addition area between the gym and Black Wing. So you're basically standing looking at the main entrance of that wing. There'll be a triple door assembly. The scaffold set up on the right is the outside wall of the auditorium to the corridor there. And then there's the left of that is a hallway to the gym and some small bathrooms. This is standing, if you will, just on the top side of where the seating will be in the auditorium, looking at the stage. So obviously the mason's working in there now. With the intent to be scaffold high with the masonry, and complete with the masonry in that area within the next 2 weeks, so we can bring the crane on site and start erecting the addition. One more shot of the addition area. So this is what the locker rooms look like at the moment. The CMU walls are complete. They're awaiting the steel beams and the roofing. This is, I believe, the boys' room, and the girls' room is adjacent to it, the same status. Both those will have ongoing steel in the month of October. Existing Black Wing, you can, the upper picture, you can see the white. We re-roofed the entire wing at this point, cutting all the new roof drains. The lower right picture is a shot of the inside of it. We've been using the masonry demising walls in that area as rainy day work for the masonry crew as they complete the addition. A couple days that it rained, we built a couple walls in there. And the overhead MEP roughing crews will be moving to this area next once they leave area F, which I'll show you in a moment. So area C, your old yellow wing. The left picture is the future expanded calf and fitness area, the old girls locker room. You can see the Stego and the mesh. We are prepping to place that slab by the end of this week. Right picture is the future kitchen, which is the old boys' locker room. A very similar status, about a day behind. The intent is to pour that kitchen slab this Friday as well. So that's coming up quickly, as tomorrow is Friday. Old pool, completely restored at this point, infilled, slab in place. We're demoing the old soffit that went over the top of the pool at this point. And then we'll be moving on to the roof and the MVP roughing in that area once that soffit comes down. A good shot of the outside. 3 areas that we just talked about. If you look at the far right of the picture, you can see the roofing crew is actively working in that area now. The intent is to re-roof all 3 elevations of this area within the next couple weeks, as well as the area to the far left of this picture that ties in across the hall, if you will, or around the gym to the addition. So that by the end of November-ish, all the re-roofing for this phase, as well as the roofing on the additions, is substantially done. The new switchgear room, this is a good shot of all the underground electrical work that goes in that area. This house is in switchgear, a good set of panels, as well as I'm actually standing in the future fire pump room. Where you see the stub ups to the right, and the main water feed kind of in the middle of the room. So this area, we're pushing to place this slab on grade in about a week and a half, and then build this area masonry high, and the trusses that the roof of this area are actually already on site waiting to go up. Area F, which is the old blue wing, this is a shot of the roof. So completely re-roofed to this point. All the curbs you see in place are ductwork penetrations. If anybody recalls, all the ductwork for this wing is on the roof, and then it goes down in chases within each classroom. So there'll be a substantial amount of rooftop ductwork and a unit in the middle of this roof. Some of that rooftop ductwork actually showed up to the site this week. So over the next month and a half or so, that ductwork will go in place, and the rooftop unit is tracking for the end of November. For this wing. And as a reminder, this is the wing, as I scroll to the inside pics, that we turn over first. This is the February turnover that allows us to take the next 2-story wing from February through the following summer. So this is 2 quick shots of the inside of that building. The left picture, you can see the ductwork against the wall there. That comes down from the roof and travels right through down to the first floor, as well as it's tough to tell in the picture, but there's a takeoff that'll feed the 2nd floor here, and obviously this riser goes down to the 1st floor. Corridor, the 2nd floor, substantial amount of electrical work in place at this point. Sprinklers are substantially done, and overhead HVAC crews are working on starting their piping for both the radiant piping that goes to all the units at the walls for radiant heat, as well as the refrigerant piping for the split systems, which is the heating and AC units for the majority of the spaces. One last picture of the outside. There's a new stormwater detention basin that we've developed to the southwest corner, I believe, if I have my direction right in my head, of the site. That's to rough grade at this point over the last couple of weeks, and filler work for the site work through as we work through this fall season. So that's the last picture I have of it. So overall progress is good. We're right on track where we want to be. Area F is a big push to maintain our paving schedule. We'll keep going with that part. Any questions?
Very good. Anybody have any questions for Gilbane, Amar, Marcus, or anybody else? All right, let's. All right. So if there are no more questions, let's move on to the owner's rep, CSG.
Yes, Randy, I was on mute by accident.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that storm basin that they're putting in now, that's up, it looks like it's up against the hill that they fixed years ago from the washout. Is that right?
It's not close to it. It's,
Not close?
no,
Okay,
it's over by where the tennis courts, behind the tennis court area. It's not, if you look where that cat is, if you
Yes.
go down another 50 to 65 yards, that's where the hill starts.
okay,
there-
so it's much farther forward.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right, we'll move on to the owner's rep, CSG. Chris?
So, as Bruce mentioned earlier, working with the finance department to get the POs issued for the 7 furniture vendors, Red Thread, Robert Lord, School Specialties, and so on. Hopefully, we're going to get those issued next week so that we have the F-wing furniture here for January for the move-in. Also, next Tuesday, we're meeting with the state for the technology portion. So we've been working with GTC, the technology consultant who made the presentation at the last meeting, to get all the required paperwork pulled together and whatever sign-offs and signatures that we need to get to that review meeting next week. So we can also order all the technology equipment that we need for January. And then just earlier today, I was on the phone with the school construction office discussing our reimbursements. So we should be receiving a reimbursement this month for the project, for all the expenses that we've paid so far. So I'll have more information on that probably at the next meeting or in November once the state reviews everything. But that's all tracking. So we should be receiving something soon.
Excellent. All right. Anybody have any questions regarding the owner's rep? Go ahead, Walter.
Chris, you did get those papers I dropped off?
Yes, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, just checking. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? If not, we'll move on to the budget subcommittee. The budget subcommittee met earlier today, and anything that's being presented to you this evening has been reviewed and approved. If it was not reviewed and approved, it will not be presented to you this evening. Greg?
There are no ATPs for this meeting. We do have 7 invoices and 4 revisions
And services.
and services for JCJ. Let's start first with the CSG invoice. I make a motion that we approve CSG invoice number 9 dated September 30th, 2020 in the amount of $29,755.86.
Second it.
Any comments? Questions? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you very much. Unanimous?
Okay, second item is amendment number 2 for JCJ. This is, where's the description for these?
Right on the first line.
This one is the preparation of plan on behalf of the client to comply with EPA requirements. And this is for an amount of $10,175.
Second.
Scott seconded it. Are there any comments or questions? If not, show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Unanimous? Thank you.
The next is amendment number 3 for JCJ. Special inspection for MHA proposal dated March 17, 2020. provide oil tank removal specs for Fuss O'Neill, proposal dated February 19th, 2020. And finally, provide threshold review for Tom Torrenti, proposal dated January 7th, 2010. Should be 2020, that's a typo there. This is the total is $23,495.
Second,
Okay, we have seconds. Any comments or questions? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
Amendment number 4 for JCJ. Provide senior level on-site representation from June 1st, 2020 through project substantial completion, August 2022. This is a rate schedule here. 60 visits at $500 each for $30,000. And that's June to August 22, and an additional 100 days for another 100,000.
Any comments? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
Amendment number 5 for JCJ, Special Operations Services, as associated summary reports. Where's the total? $19,525.
Show of any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
Okay, JCJ invoice number 17 dated August 31st, 2020, the amount of $43,183.84.
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
JCJ invoice number 18, September 30th, 2020, $84,750.18.
Any discussion? We just want to, the reason why JCJ has 2 invoices, that last meeting we had, we were waiting for some backup, so we tabled it. So that's why they have two invoices this time. Any other discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
The next invoice, Gilbane Building Company, application number 12, September 30th, 2020, $1,527,769.11.
second,
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
Independent Materials Testing Labs, Inc., invoice number 4707-B, dated September 16th, 2020, for the sum of $10,975.
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
TRC invoice number 424559, dated July 6th, 2020, for the sum of $27,272.50.
second,
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
A second invoice for TRC, invoice number 436777, dated September 24th, 2020, for the sum of $28,424.09.
Second by Scott. Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous.
That concludes all the invoices.
Very good. We're gonna move on to old business. We have nothing under old business. We have new business. Anybody have anything under new business they want to bring up this evening? We'll move on to item communication subcommittee. Monty, Caitlin, you guys have anything?
I don't have anything new. Caitlin, I don't know. You?
I do not.
Did we get any previous presentations that we were looking for? Okay.
I got the, yeah, he sent me over tonight's already. So I have that, but I don't know if, was there one from 2 weeks ago? Was there a PowerPoint?
The only thing that was from 2 weeks ago, we did our IT.
Okay, then I have that. Yeah, that's where I was confused then. Thank you. Thanks, Marcus.
Excellent. Thank you guys very much. Move on to scheduling the next meeting.
October 15th, 2 weeks from today.
Why don't we schedule it for October 15th? If we don't need it, I will send out a notice that we cancel it, but we just keep it as of right now. We don't have too much pending, but let's just keep it in case we need it.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that our next meeting be October 15th, 2020.
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor. Anybody against? Any abstain? Unanimous, thank you. All right, committee comments. We'll start off with the liaisons. You guys have anything? Nothing.
Great job so far. Randy, we had a live Board of Ed meeting this week, so maybe later this month or first of November, we could do a presentation to the board. Just something to think about.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, we could do that. And we're also planning as far as the liaisons and the building committee, we're still trying to schedule a walkthrough in the building, so.
Perfect. Let us keep us posted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys can just keep sharing the pictures and the videos and the updates, so we can come over Facebook and then have talk about it in the newsletter. I'm assuming they subcommittee maybe.
Okay. Stacy, do you have anything, or you're all set? Okay. Committee members, anybody have any comments committee-wise? Anybody have any good to the order they want to share? Any good and happy news they want to share? All right. Well, again, I thank you guys very much for coming this evening. Next week, we are going to try to do it at the job site trailer in person. I got a couple things to verify with the town and make sure we're okay with that. The job site trailer can accommodate. It will be open to the public if they want to come. But as you can see, we're starting to have some difficulty with some IT issues. So we want to try to do it in person. We will adhere to all the required COVID requirements. So, all right, if anybody doesn't have anything else they want to add or share.
Mr. Chairman, motion to adjourn.
We have a second by Scott. Any other questions, comments, discussions? If not, show of hands, all in favor. Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you guys very much. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks,
Everybody have a good
Randy.
night.
Bye, guys.
Take care.